I can hear you. I can hear you. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam warahmatullahi.
The
Man,
monitor nice, bro.
thank you, man. I feel like I overdid it, no?
That looks nice. That looks nice. Yeah,
I
yeah.
appreciate it. I appreciate it.
So yeah, how you been, man?
I'm doing good. Alhamdulillah, I'm doing good. How are you?
Good, good. How's Saturday and Sunday going for you?
Alhamdulillah, it's going well. Just a weekend where nothing crazy happens and you just focus on taking care of the kid. It's a decent weekend. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Alhamdulillah. No, man. I was like, I saw this on the calendar, and then I was like, dude, if we just keep on delaying it, it's not gonna happen. Like this is
Yeah,
not start, you know. And then also like my job search process is coming to kind of like an uh towards the conclusion, I think, hopefully within the next like
okay.
2 weeks or so. Uh
Mashallah.
I got an offer, alhamdulillah.
Nice. Alhamdulillah,
Uh
that's good.
so I'm waiting on some other interviews to finish up as well. This offer would require me to move. Um
Ah,
but then like I have another one that's um it's remote, so
I
I can
see.
stay here. But yeah, bro, my head has been spinning, trying to figure out the long-term plan and like which offer is better and things like that. Uh,
Mhm.
so, but yeah, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. I pray that Allah helps you pick the best choice, inshallah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm reminded, that hey, whatever is meant for you is not gonna miss you, and whatever
Yeah,
is not for you, you're not gonna get it no matter how much you try.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
uh, so yeah, and I'm reminded that, bro, alhamdulillah, bro, we're Muslims. We already won at life. Like sometimes, like
Alhamdulillah.
we
Yeah,
think about job offer or we're trying to get this, we're trying to get that goal, this goal, that goal. I'm like, dude, you already won at life. Just the fact
yeah,
that you know you wake up and pray. You know the fact that alhamdulillah, I think both of us like, yo, bro, we're married, we have a kid. Like, bro, what else can you ask for?
yeah.
You know, like
SubhanAllah, no, that's so true.
literally,
Yeah,
we literally
yeah.
won it already. So
Sometimes you stress out and you don't realize that you already have so much.
yeah, 100%, dude.
Alhamdulillah.
So yeah, alhamdulillah. But yeah, bro, I think look, so one of the motivations behind doing this podcast for me is really it's my way to like give back like in a bigger way. You know, so far for the last 5 years, I've been pretty much my job has been like, focused on giving back to the Muslim community. Alhamdulillah, I had the opportunity to do that. Right
Mashallah.
now, um, and then like I do some stuff at the masjid, organize events and programs and things like that.
Yeah,
I think that's like an obligation, upon I'll just talk about myself. Like I feel like that's like, like, hey, Allah gave me so many blessings. What's the way that we're giving back outside of like, just my own life? Look at me taking care of
yeah,
my family, my kids, and so on. Like there has to be there's a more like societal collective responsibility. Like you're doing something to help the deen of Allah.
yeah.
And for me, this podcast would be like one of the ways, that
Mashallah.
if we're able to create a space, for people to listen and like, get inspired or have a space
Alhamdulillah.
like, where they feel connected, you know.
Mm, yeah,
So yeah, that's the hope, inshallah, Allah accept it from
inshallah.
all.
I mean,
So
I mean,
yeah, bro. I mean, I know it's been a while since we connected, so I was like, okay, hey,
yeah.
it'd be good to just kind of reconnect on the purpose and like what we're doing, how we're doing it, and so on. Give me your thoughts on
Mm.
it.
You're asking my thoughts on the podcast?
Yeah, yeah, just overall, like, just give me like overall, like the fact you're thinking about it, overall thoughts, and so on.
Um, I I would say that, Alhamdulillah, I think I have the same mindset as you as right now the world, especially as far as the Muslim Ummah goes, there's like a need for Muslims to be kind of dragged away from the worldly life and to sprinkle some kind of mention of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala within their lives. And
Yeah,
I'm not sure if I had this conversation with you or not, but sometimes in these kind of endeavors, you drag your feet or you procrastinate because one of the reasons will be that, oh, there's so many Muslim podcasts out there, there's so much Muslim content out there, and sometimes Shaitan will convince you that, it's other people doing it. Why would you need to do it? And it was interesting that I used to, so I do spoken word poetry, and I used to post, poetry from here and there, or if I was invited somewhere to talk, then I would like post a clip of that. And when you look at other content creators and getting millions of views and hundreds and thousands of views, I would get like 50 views or 100 views, and I would say, okay, I'm not there yet, but maybe one day. I wasn't giving it much significance. And then it wasn't until there was a student who reached out to me, who messaged me and said, they haven't seen any content from me in a while. And as a student, they struggle with trying to balance deen and dunya. And my content has been one of the ways that's been helping them. And I said, subhanAllah, I never, thought that anything that I say or do would like I always saw it as whoever sees it, or even if I
Hmm.
go somewhere to speak, whoever's present, they were just there and I'm just there and they're just listening to what I'm saying. And it doesn't go beyond that. I don't think there's anything that people will be taking home or applying or like basically I continue to live within their lives in different ways. And what that student said really motivated me to still try to find ways to post content online, to make content, to have conversations, even if it's going to be one or two people who end up listening to it. I think they would be, that benefit will always be worth it. So when
Yeah.
we had our conversation and then may Allah reward you, you thought of the idea of, our conversations are already, densely packed with, good conversations, then we might as well turn into a podcast. I thought this is a perfect opportunity to dip my feet back into posting content online. So
No, no.
I think it's a great opportunity. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, dude. No, it's um I think you know, I'm reminded of like Allah talks about the example of the honeybee, like be like the honeybee, you know,
Mm,
even if you're doing like, something that's very, very small or minute to help the cause of Allah, to help
mm,
you're doing your best to help bring good to the world. Like don't
yeah,
overlook it, you know.
that's true. That's true.
Like we all have our part, and inshallah may Allah accept it from us from and really, like, I think the biggest thing is, hey, doing this for the sake of Allah, number one, right? It's like, okay, hey, we're
Absolutely.
doing this as a sincere effort. We're not doing this for the wrong reasons, like, for money or
Yeah,
fame or, to show off or anything like that. Like really, like,
yeah,
doing it to benefit people and also benefit ourselves. I think uh as you spend both of us are around the same age, like, just being able
yeah,
to bounce off ideas with each other, being able to, like, share a reflection or a thought, like it becomes a
yeah.
reminder for both of us. So,
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
inshallah. But yeah, bro. So look, um, I think there's few things, okay, as we get started, right?
Yeah.
I know you have an 8 p.m. Stop, so I'll keep that in mind. Okay. So look,
Okay.
number one, the consistency, right? I think like we made this bi-weekly. I think like, hey, just make the bar really, really low to make sure that we're able to do this consistently, and then
Yeah.
add it bells and whistles. Like we're
Yeah.
doing this over video right now, but I think, I mean, bro, anytime you add video, it just becomes a lot more complex. Like you have to think about
Yeah.
your background, you have to think about,
Exactly.
the editing of it, right? It's like,
I
okay, hey,
did have to take time to to make sure
yeah,
that when I turn on my camera, it looks like this. So you're absolutely
exactly.
right.
So I think the video adds a level of like, additional effort, okay, which might be a friction for us to be consistent. So like
I
let's not
agree.
make video a I think we can do video when we are able to, but let's not make it a mandate so that because we're like, okay, hey, it's gonna make it more difficult than it is, right? Like let's just get
I
the ball
agree.
rolling first, you know?
I
Uh
agree. Yeah.
so so that's number one. Number two, I think like the bi-weekly, like instead of like on a weekly basis, even on a bi-weekly basis, like, yo, let's just do
Yeah,
this for like, 3, 4, 5, 10 episodes, and then we can again add in all the bells and whistles, guests and good, better quality, audio quality and better mic and,
yeah.
all of that. So, uh, yeah, yeah, those are the things in my mind. In terms of like, the content itself, um, I think, um, I mean, you tell me, okay? How do you envision the content? Okay, how do we make sure, like, okay, that the quality of the content is good and so on?
That's a good question because I have been thinking about this, and I think something that I know that I would like to be more aware of is to always, I think making it enjoyable for the two of us
Yeah,
indirectly will make it enjoyable for whoever is watching. And because I would start to overthink, especially again, you come into this after already witnessing other content creators, other YouTubers, other podcasters, and the perfectionist in you is thinking, all right, so what am I going to do to be on that level? How can I cater? How can I make sure production? And start to overthink it. And then I realized that I was about to go into this trying to what's how do I even put it? I was about to go into this podcast trying to like I guess kind of like serve as compared to like trying to serve others as compared to like let's serve each other and whoever's around they're invited to eat. And in
mm,
doing so, that it would just be more genuine, than
yeah,
trying
yeah, yeah,
to think of, oh, what exactly is going to be more trendy or more popular or get more eyes, because here's the thing, right? People will think that in Islamic content, we don't do the whole trend or popular or these little tips and tricks to try to get more views. But the reality is, most Muslim creators, even those who their content specifically focuses on dawah, they still have to implement certain things to make their content more accessible to people, to make it more likely to get ahead in the algorithm. So I've spoken to a few Muslim content creators who have expressed you're struggling between this balance of, oh, I'm doing this for the sake of Allah, I'm doing this to give da'wah to better people, but then balancing that with if I put my title in all caps, it's gonna most likely get seen than in lowercase. Or if I put red circles and arrows in my thumbnail, more people will be more likely to click it than otherwise.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
trying to balance that, so I was afraid of falling into that. And I really appreciate, you reiterating like not, you know, thinking too much of it and just trying like you said, we were already having really good conversations. So we're just literally doing that on camera for others to benefit from it. So that's how I'm looking at it going in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, bro, you gotta, I think somebody gave me a good advice. Like it's
Mm,
a balance, right? It's like you gotta make it brandable and sellable.
mm,
You know, anytime, okay, a product or service is doing well, it's also because like, okay, hey, they packaged it in a way
yeah,
that's easy for people to digest it. So it's like,
yeah,
okay, how do we package this in that way? So 100%, I think we got to balance that. It's just the common denominator as we do all of this, bro. There is no branding and uh, making it better if we're not doing it, right? I think
right,
consistency is
right,
the key word. Like that's the common denominator. Hey,
right.
you do audio, you do video, content sucks, content is good, doesn't matter. Make sure you keep on going.
We keep
Make sure you
going.
keep on pedaling so that
Absolutely.
over time it'll get really, really good. Like, I mean, if you look at um, anybody who started any YouTube channel or podcast or anything like that, like the first episode or in the first 10 episodes, maybe the first like 20, 30 episodes, it wasn't the greatest. Like
Right,
you're looking at, episode 543. Looking
right, right.
at episode like, 76. You haven't seen, okay, what episode 1 through 5 looked like. you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
But the thing is that if this person didn't keep on going, if that consistency wasn't there, you can improve it like over
Then,
time, right?
right. Yeah.
So, okay, inshallah. By the way, dude, I think another thing is like,
Mm.
um, even like for example, I'm like recording this, like even our thought process, like how we're thinking about it, that could be
Yeah.
like, I don't know if there's some way to repurpose that content, it's like behind the scenes.
Right.
Like you're showing like, how we're building it, how we're thinking about it, as we're doing.
Yeah.
So,
And
inshallah.
the reason why I again like someone would say, these specific details we're discussing, this could have been a backdoor conversation. This could have been, behind the scenes. But like like you said, we're having a conversation and people are benefiting from it. There's probably Muslims, non-Muslims, whoever, who might come across this and have been wondering, should I start recording or should I not? Should I, you know, do it or not? And maybe seeing us go through, you know, all right,
Yeah.
this is what they talked about, and then okay, episode 2, episode 3, oh wow, they're going, and then this is how they started, this is how it looked like. I think that might serve as motivation for some others.
Yeah. And like I think look, it's genuine and authentic, right? It's like, okay, bro, we're figuring this out on our own. Um, uh, and we're showing you like, the way we're figuring it out. But yeah, dude, look, go back to the question, right? In terms of like, okay, hey, and by the way, dude, maybe this can be the episode. This is the pilot episode, let's say, just the proof of concept. This could be episode one that, okay, hey, what exactly would this look like? What is the content breakdown? I had few ideas, uh, I think one of the concept is definitely, just giving a opportunity to reflect,
Yeah.
right? Listen, what are the, is your mic okay?
Yeah, I'm connected to AirPods and it just randomly turned off. And so I was just getting it back, but I can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah. So I think one piece, like there are two ideas that's in my mind. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, when you bring in a guest, it just kind of becomes like, it's a much easier. Like, okay, we're going to talk about the guest journey. We're going to talk about like, the topic, like, they're expert in, or like we pick a topic and we talk about that, the guest can speak to that. That's like an easy way
Yeah.
of like creating content, right? The other one
Yeah.
that's in my mind is like, so I have two ideas. Okay, that's in my mind. Actually, three ideas. All right.
Okay.
Idea number one is,
Yeah.
um, I mean, dude, it's just like, drawing lessons, just from our daily lives, right? I'm a
Mm.
big fan of journaling. Like, hey, listen, what's something that's happening in my daily life and what's a lesson that I can extract from that? And just being able
Yeah.
to speak on that topic, right? Um,
Okay.
I think that's one. The second, so it's like an open-ended question. Hey, what's a reflection or insight you had this week? You share something, I share something, and we like, go back and forth and talk about it. It's like two friends catching up, essentially,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
How have you been, man? Like, what's going on in your life?
Yeah.
What
What's going on?
what are you
Yeah.
thinking about? Etc. Right?
Yeah.
That's one. The second thing is honestly like Quran. It's like, hey, it's an opportunity for us to. It's the exact same thing. It's just like, hey, let's read some Quran together and actually reflect
Yeah.
on the verses. Like we read the translation and so on, but then we almost like talk about it. You know.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, and I think, obviously you study the Quran as well, right? So, hey, what's the background of
Mhm.
the verses and so on. So I think that's
Yeah.
that's the second thing. I think we can't go wrong on that. The
Hmm.
third thing that I had in my mind was, hey, both of us like read a book together. So like, hey, we
Okay.
pick a specific book and like, hey, each episode, like we cover a chapter of that book. We read the
Right.
book together and just, say, hey, what are the lessons that we're extracting? What are the takeaways and so on? So those are the three ideas that's in my mind. The fourth idea actually is, if you want, I mean, I think you're a much better public speaker than I am, right? You have
Yeah.
experience giving khutbahs and talks and so on. Like if
No.
you can prepare something, like that's like, okay, 5 to 10 minutes, like, okay, hey, that's like the lecture part, if you will, of that episode. And then we go
Mm.
into, like a discussion about that part.
Mm. That's
So
a good idea. Yeah.
there you go. I gave you four ideas over here, you know. Uh,
MashaAllah.
do you have anything else that's like, more unique than any of those four?
Um, I think, yeah, I like all four of your ideas. I've been thinking about the same. And then one more that I don't know if you remember I mentioned to you before is I think it's similar to one of your ideas where throughout the week, any kind of like interesting event, any kind of interesting piece of news, current events that you
Um,
come across that we can save and then discuss it here. And in the point of it, because I'm not gonna bring up um, the US responding to Iran, and now all of a sudden I'm a political expert. Like we're not going to go above our heads and try to dissect the exact news of the event, but rather I was thinking more of like, well, what as Muslims, what can I take from this news? Right? Like I work
sure.
I work a lot with the youth, and every week there's something going on either on social media or going on in schools and that I might come across. So I think that it would be very beneficial to like, I'll bring an article. Oh, there's a stabbing that almost happened by some students. How did we even get to this point? How are Muslim children, involved in these kind of things? How do we prevent it? What does the Quran have to say about things like this? And things of that nature. Or maybe the 5 to 10 minute lecture thing that you're talking could be a combination of that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, essentially, it's like, hey, take a current event, right? And
Yeah,
then take it from draw a lesson out of that, right? What can we
exactly. Yeah,
learn as Muslims there? So let me write
yeah.
this down, okay? So the first one was like, just hey, what's insight or but I'm in that document that I shared with you. I think
Oh,
we can make
okay.
a running document, So what's a
Okay.
insight or reflection um from the week? I think Quran and reflection. So lecture by Hassan and I would say lecture, so reminder by Hassan and reflection.
Reminder sounds great.
Okay.
Somebody's been going to school and listening to lectures all week.
Yeah.
You don't want to add on to that.
Yeah, word matters, right?
Yeah.
Reminder by Hassan and Al-Hassan and reflection. Current event and what
Mm.
we as Muslims can learn. And then the other one was like going through a book, right?
Yes.
Share and reflection. And then of course you can add, bringing on guests over here.
Yeah. This
Yeah.
wouldn't be anytime soon, but I do see a future where if Allah grants us an audience that is active, so meaning that because we did at one point, I think we did discuss the possibility of this going live,
Yeah,
of doing
yeah, yeah.
this live. So if we, inshallah, I was gonna say if we ever, but let me be more, uh, you know, positive and say, inshallah, when we get to that point, and that we have active viewers, people who are tuning in actively. It doesn't even have to be a lot, but then we could have some kind of segment where we're inviting people to join
Mm.
the
Yeah, yeah.
conversation. What are your thoughts? Something that I've seen on other podcasts, not necessarily Muslim podcasts, but I really like the idea of there being like a question, like what is the strangest thing that's ever happened to you at work, and then different people call in to give, oh well, this happened to me, that happened to me. And what I found is that, so I'm gonna share what is it called, a cheat code for people who want to get into speaking or public speaking. One of the
Yeah, yeah.
most important things to have as a public speaker is stories, right? Because when you are speaking to people, you don't want to bore them with information. Or if you're trying to influence someone, you're trying to teach someone something, motivate them, impart some kind of knowledge, You don't want them to feel like they're sitting in a classroom. So one of the most effective ways to do that, even teachers in the actual classroom use this, is to do it through a story. As a
Hmm.
speaker, the challenge now, especially if you're a young speaker, the challenge is where do you get these stories from? Because people who are much older, they've like experienced life for so many years, so they have so many stories that they can tap into. And even then, there are people who are older speakers who struggle because when as they live their life, they didn't pay attention to the many moments that they have, right? And this is why they say it's very important that you live in the moment, because this could be a story that you can tell another day, even if it's not that significant, and you're just able to look at, like, for example, your wife and say, hey, remember, June 2025, this happened. And it would just be you literally two sentences to recall what happened. And it might open or rekindle some kind of emotion that you felt before that was a positive one and add on to your relationship. So as a speaker, I'm always finding out ways to make sure I accumulate stories that are impactful, stories that are relatable. You can Google stories, but are they relatable to people? So, what's more relatable than the stories coming from the people themselves? So, when we have
Yeah.
a segment like that
Mhm.
and we have multiple people calling in, not only is it, refreshing content where it's not just the two of us speaking anymore, not only do our viewers feel like they have a place where they can express themselves, but not just you and I, but everyone tuning in are now having access to many stories that they can now use within their lives, whether it's small talk at your job. Hey, the other day I was listening to something and you wouldn't believe
Yeah,
that this
yeah,
guy went through XYZ. It makes you a more I think you're in the business of helping. I don't know if you're in the business of or you have a lot of knowledge about it. But I think at one point you was telling me certain things about what how to like market yourself as a leader, especially if you're going to be a leader of an organization or something. One, you can tell me if I'm wrong. Is one of the things that makes you more likable, that makes you more attractive, not in an inappropriate way, but attractive in a way where people are going to be drawn to you, is if you are able to connect with them in many diverse ways. And then one of the most effective ways, again, is having that story. So I'm just saying all this to say that the having different stories being shared um on this podcast, which if you think about it,
yeah, yeah. No,
is
no.
is
Yeah,
a is actually a cheap way of, not a cheap way, but an easy way of getting a guest. Because
yeah,
with a guest, we probably have like an hour long conversation about the guest story. But with that segment, technically the guest is whoever's calling in, and then they just express
yeah.
themselves for a few minutes. So that's just something that I was
No, it's have you
thinking
heard
about.
of when you talked about like it's like okay, hey, there's different podcasts that do this. The podcast that came to my mind was I listen to sometimes Muslim Lantern. I don't know if you know him on YouTube.
Muslim Nancy, yeah, 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 yeah. I keep up
Yeah.
with his
I mean
content. Yeah,
his entire thing is like, bringing people in, what questions they have.
exactly.
It's like,
Yeah,
hey, this is my background sometimes, and so
absolutely.
so yeah, that creates like because those are that's like a specific individual's very specific unique perspective, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it just creates for like good entertaining content, and at the same time like very like you get to it's very captivating and authentic content, that comes
Absolutely.
from that. So okay, we can think about that. I think so. Look, definitely that, right? The other thing,
Mhm.
by the way, what again, this comes to like, making it one of the ways, by the way. So I used to do
Yeah.
this podcast back in 2018. We called it the Life Build Up Show with my friend. And
Mhm.
the thing that helped us stay consistent for this podcast is that, hey, we had a specific time that we went live every single week. So
Right.
it was a live show every Thursday at 9 p.m. That was like
I
our
see.
thing. That okay, hey, we're gonna go live no matter what. Like sometimes he would come late from work home, he's tired. I was like, yo, we gotta make it
Mhm.
happen. Sometimes he was traveling, we made it happen over Zoom. Like,
Absolutely.
so I think that's another element, like that helps you with the consistency. So I think we can think
Yeah.
about that in. It's just that again, like you got to be available for that time, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
And make sure that you are able to be consistent. And maybe that's where we're gonna be heading to. Like,
Inshallah.
every Thursday, 9 p.m. or every Wednesday, 8 p.m. Like, we make it happen.
Yeah.
So that also builds that audience that, okay, hey,
Yeah.
look, consistently, right? You're doing it at that time. So okay, okay, bro, we got some few ideas, so let's see, going live
Inshallah.
at a specific time. There are a couple
Yeah.
other things I think we got to talk through. Uh, so we talked about, okay, why we're doing this,
Mhm.
what we're doing. We talked about like the contents focus. By the way, what was the, what do you want to call this? What was the name that we had? I think it was a dialed in, or I forget what the name was.
Yeah, I went to the document and I was trying to find that one
Or
name that
locked in,
was it locked in?
dialed in, locked in,
I'm so upset. I couldn't remember because you
hustle
were
for
saying the
paradise.
names and one of them struck me like, oh yeah, that's the one. And now I'm looking at the list and I'm like, I can't remember which one it was.
Let me see. Yeah, it's not in our chat.
It's one of them, but
I know it was like a, name that was um like it didn't have like a Muslim connotation to it. Like I think we wanted
yeah,
to go from that. We don't want to say something like Islam or Muslim or something like that. That was
yeah,
one.
we were trying to avoid that. Yeah,
So we wanted, I think it was dialed in, if I'm not
dialed
mistaken.
in.
Or like locked in, like something like that. Uh yeah.
Dialed in. Yeah, I think we can use dialed in. I think dialed in is actually a nice one because it's also a callback to um the plan of initially wanting to do this over the phone.
Oh.
So
Like
so dialed in,
yeah.
or eventually if inshallah people enjoy calling to express their views, then they're dialed in technically. I think there's a opportunity for a play of words
Yeah,
with
yeah.
that name.
So my only thing is like, bro, I think dialed in, it makes it sound like, okay, like we're very serious and we're like super focused at it.
That
But
that too.
I'm like, bro, I want to have more of like a casual tone to it. That, you're just
I
like,
agree.
the chill zone, like, something like that. It's like,
Yeah, I
yo,
was just about to say the dialed in podcast sounds like we're here giving employment tips, like just
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. Like,
the
or like
hustler
we're giving
university kind of thing.
like
Okay, yeah, so that's true. Um,
so um
the link up is
I
not
had,
that it's not bad.
yeah, the link up. So I think I like that name.
The link up,
Because it's like, okay, yeah, bro, we're just linking up and we're
we're
just
just
talking,
linking up.
you know?
If we have a guest, we're linking up with the guest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the link up is a good one. I think we can.
I'm for that name. Okay.
Yeah, I second you. I think we can set up
How
for
are you
that.
feeling about like 1 through 10? It's like, yo, I really like the name.
The link
Versus
up.
what would you say?
Again, I'm such an overthinker. So the the link up, it sounds it sounds
Too hip?
generic. It sounds generic, but then on the flip side, you do want to keep things simple in the name of a podcast. You don't want to. We're not. First of all, we don't have the what is it called? Like we're not celebrities, so that we
Yeah,
can
yeah.
give it some kind of like cryptic name, and then people would know how to find it because they keep up with us, so they know it has to be something that will be easy to search. So I think the link up is
Yeah,
good.
I like that name, bro. Okay.
I
You
think the
want to
link
call
up
it
is good.
podcast or stream? What do you want to call it? Or show? So link up podcast, link up show, link up stream.
The link up. The
I
link
think you
up
just call it
show. Huh?
I think we just call it the link up because
The link up. Yeah, I was gonna we can leave it like that because I'm also
yeah,
thinking about it being easy to say.
yeah.
the
So
link
okay,
out.
uh, confession, okay.
Yeah.
Um, I was doing something similar with a friend of mine. He's actually my business partner. So my
Okay.
e-commerce business, he's my business partner for that. And
Mm.
this was the name, like, we used for like our stream. We did like, I think, what,
Oh,
6 or 7 episodes on it, you know?
yeah.
And we have actually a lot of the stuff already built. Like I made like the YouTube, the Instagram, and everything like that, you know?
Oh,
So
nice. Yeah.
it might be it might be easy to just like pick up like using all of
From
that.
the, that's a
Yeah.
great idea. Yeah.
Yeah,
There's no
yeah.
need to reinvent the wheel.
So it's like, okay, you don't have to make all those accounts again. Because that was gonna be my next thing. I was like, okay, hey, how are we gonna be, what's the distribution across the major platforms look like? You know?
Right. Yeah.
I think my rule of thumb on this is like, yo, you gotta have one platform that you um like that's your platform, like,
Yeah.
you focus in on, but you want to make sure like you're everywhere, okay, so that the algorithm can pick you up or somebody can search you up and so on, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and for me, I'm like, okay, if we're doing audio only, then it's I mean, there are services out there that you can just take the audio clip and put it in there, and it'll
Yeah.
distribute it across everywhere. And people
Other
mostly use like
platforms.
Apple Podcasts or Spotify for it, right? So
Yeah.
that's one. The or if we're able to do video eventually, like it's like YouTube is like, is like the main thing that people use. So that's what comes to my mind. I think we got to make a decision on like, okay, audio or video, right? If we're doing audio, like if we're saying that, okay, we're doing audio, then really it would be like, Apple Podcast and Spotify. Those would be the
Okay.
two platforms. Um, by the way, you had a podcast before, right? Like, that you did. Do you remember like, how you distribute it?
It was very like I didn't put too much thought into it. So it was just I was just uploading to YouTube. I
Okay.
didn't yeah, I didn't try I got asked about it and then I started looking into it, but around the time I wasn't being consistent in uploading. So then I kind of like backed off looking into different distribution platforms. But I any podcast that I listen to is usually through YouTube that I come across it.
Okay.
So I yeah, I only know about podcasting through YouTube. I know people
Okay.
listen to it to Spotify. I think at one point I was listening to Joe Rogan on Spotify. But besides that, I don't think I've really dabbled into different platforms for podcasting. But if there is a service that will just immediately automatically post it on different places, would it does it include YouTube? Do you think it posts to YouTube as well?
So I know YouTube, you have to do it manually. The
You
way
have to do
that
it
me and my
manually.
friend were
Okay.
doing it is that, like, we used to meet over Zoom, and then we used to
Hmm.
live stream it to YouTube. But then you can actually, like, we weren't doing audio necessarily. We're doing like a video, like, okay, live stream to YouTube, and then we would
Yeah.
feed that YouTube link or the Zoom link. Okay, we would feed that to what you want to call it. We would feed it to Opus, remember Opus clip, and then
Yeah.
that would
Yeah.
break it up into like, small little clips, basically.
Okay.
So that's what we're doing. Uh,
Okay.
and um, so yeah, that's what we're doing. As far as like audio only, I know Spotify for creators, like essentially you take the audio clip, like, the audio podcast, and
Yeah.
you can distribute it across like all the channels, you know?
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So those
Okay.
I know those are the things that are there. So look, here's what comes to my mind as far as like, okay, let's create some clear action items and roles and responsibilities, right? In order
Yeah.
for us to set this up in the right way. I think, look, again, let's stick to that audio only for now,
Hmm.
but I think we should have like all the accounts made. Like, hey, we have something like on, again, all the accounts are made, right? I think
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
we should do. That's number one. Number two is um Number two is um I gotta set up the Spotify, like, the audio distribution. So it's basically we want to be like, okay, hey, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and then we have like all the other ones like made, right? Like YouTube and all the other ones.
Yeah.
And um um yeah, I can set it up, but as far as the okay, like, posting the specific clips and like podcast and so on, do you think you can
Yeah.
take on that responsibility?
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that,
Okay.
especially now that I got this new PC. Right? It shouldn't
I
be
mean,
too much of a
sorry. Yeah, the truth, it's just that, doing it on a consistent basis, you know.
yeah.
I can, so look, I have a premium Zoom account. Okay.
Okay.
So I can maybe give you access to the Zoom so that anytime,
Okay.
as far as like, how we record this, right?
Yeah.
So we can, uh, I mean, look, one way of doing it is just like a phone call. The other one is like,
Hmm.
we do it over Zoom. And the Zoom, we're able to, um, um, like basically it gives you an audio clip, right?
Yeah.
Like it gives you like a file, that's the audio file that you can download and you can edit it and and so on, right?
Yeah.
So I'll give you access to the Zoom account, so you have it.
Okay. Yeah, that
Okay.
works.
Yeah.
That
Okay.
works.
Um, Other
I
than that,
was also thinking that if especially if we do audio only on Zoom, you know how Zoom has this thing when whoever's speaking, then like their initial shows up. That in itself could be the video format. Like I could post that on YouTube, so we're not worried about like on YouTube what's the video for the podcast. And then also if it's just like the audio, I would take the audio and then post it on the other channels. But then for YouTube, I would like to, I think I'm imagining, if somebody wants to listen and then YouTube is their platform of choice, then, instead of it just being
I
a
think I
blank
sent you
screen.
so look,
Yeah.
as far as like how do I, like, if we're doing like, audio only, right? I mean, the way that
Yeah.
people do it is like the waveform, right? So the waveform goes up and down,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
And I think I sent you like let me try to find it. Like there was oh yeah, there we go.
Okay.
If I could give only one
Can you see
piece of
this?
sales advice, this
Yeah.
would be it. Detach from the outcome. Because when you're attached to the outcome, when you need the deal to close, need the call to go well, need the yes, you start.
So it's
Yeah,
like,
okay. Yeah,
um,
that's perfect.
yeah. So essentially, so you have, the caption, right?
You talk
Yeah,
faster, harder.
And then you have like, the waveform going up
the
and down.
waveform. That would
Like,
be perfect. Yeah.
I mean, dude, that's basically,
Do you
let me
know the
just,
service that does that?
I don't. Okay. I was gonna ask
Okay.
if
Yeah,
you knew.
I'll look into it.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be that hard to find, but I'll look into it.
Yeah. So yeah, because I think like that basically allows you to do shorts, reels, TikTok, like all the other ones, essentially,
Yeah,
right? Like that's gonna it's just audio, right?
yeah,
So I think that would be really, really good if we're able to do that.
inshallah. Yeah, I'll look into it.